Hi, this is Frode, and welcome to Actualize Notes TV, where I deliver 5 big ideas that we can use to actualize our potential, and I give you some tips on how you can apply the ideas. Today we have another amazing book, As a Man Thinketh, by James Allen. As a Man Thinketh, no subtitle needed here. James Allen was a British philosophical writer that is best known for his inspirational books and poetry, as a pioneer of the self-improvement movement. How awesome is that? And also, As a Man Thinketh is not as much as a how-to book as an explanation that is trying to help you understand that you are self-made by the thoughts you continually think, you regularly think. And if you are fascinated by the way the impact your thoughts have on yourself and your surroundings, the people around you, and your circumstances, then you love the book. It's a quick reading, inspiring read of about 37 pages that anyone can read in 1 to 2 hours. 5 ideas. If you have any questions, you can just comment below the video. Now, Actualizer, let's get started with the first big idea, self-making. This is really the core of the book. James says that man is made or unmade by himself. And this means that we can either think the right thoughts, which are godlike thoughts, or we can continually think the wrong thoughts, which are more bestial thoughts. And our character is not a result of chance or luck, James talks about, but rather it's the result of the thoughts we continually think throughout our lives. And our character will either be godlike or bestial, somewhere between those two extremes. And yes, I'm really curious about what are the thoughts you think on a regular basis. Do you think they are more godlike or bestial? I can give you more of a practical example. When I hang out around with people who are not nice to each other, I also tend to become that way, because my thoughts are affected by their thoughts and behaviors. But when I hang around with people who are nice to each other, I also tend to become that way. When I read books that are about humility and helping other people, I also want to help other people and be a humble person. But when I read a book that's written by someone with a huge ego, I also tend to become a bit more egotistical. All these things matter. And how is this affecting your life? The next big idea, Master Gardener. James likens our minds to a garden. And he says that we can weed out those useless thoughts and cultivate our gardens with the pure and useless thoughts. And how can we do that? We do this by reducing the amount of news, TV shows, or radio we listen to. All of those things that don't contribute directly to our goals. And we increase the books we read that are inspirational and instructional, and the good audio programs and the good seminars we go to that are contributing to our goals. And if you're able to do that, you can take the role of a master gardener. Because most people are really gardeners. Useless weed seeds usually fall into their minds with the bad information from the media that just constantly hit them from outside. They don't take control of their own minds. But we can do that by, again, reading good information and getting good information into our thoughts. Third big idea, hidden justice. Basic idea here is that in every circumstance, failure or adversity, there is a hidden justice that we can search for, but we have to search for it. And this hidden justice is, in other words, learning from your mistakes. This means that it means that you learn from your mistakes. And Napoleon Hill calls this seeds of opportunity in his book Napoleon Hill's Keys to Success. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius talked about the same concept about 2,000 years ago. And he said, mentioned that the ruling power within us, our minds, we can take obstacles and turn it into material for its own use. In other words, we can use obstacles to make us stronger, or we can learn from our mistakes. So right now it's time for a small actualized journal. It contains 3 questions, and I want you to reflect on them, or you can even write them down, which is even better. First question: what is one mistake you have made lately, or one failure you have experienced? 2. What did you learn from that failure or mistake? And 3. What can you do the next time something similar happens, so you can try to make sure it doesn't happen again? An example from me. Well, a mistake I made was that I didn't take regular walks throughout my day. What I learned from that was that I felt lethargic, and I had much less energy than I usually have when I do take walks. It can be 5 to 15 minute walks. And 3, what I did to make sure that didn't happen again was that I started scheduling in my calendar 2 to 3 daily walks of about 5 to 15 minutes. What we want to do is we want to search for the hidden justice in every circumstance, learn from our mistakes. 4th big idea, aimlessness. James mentions that when somebody has a purpose, they can concentrate all of their thought powers towards the fulfillment of that purpose. And that person who has a purpose is a strong person. And what happens when we are aimless? Well, we fall prey to petty worries, doubts, and fears. For example, that person said something I didn't like yesterday, and you might end up brooding over that for days, and even months or years. For example, what did that person mean by what he said about my hair? Or you can worry about, oh my god, it rains again, this always happens to me. And this all becomes more probable for you if you are aimless, if you don't have a large goal or purpose to aim for. Now, don't despair if you don't have a purpose. It's really not a quick fix to cultivate this deep sense of purpose, because you have to know thyself, like Socrates said a couple of thousand years ago. But you can't start the process right now, for example, by saying that you are going to be an exemplary husband, teacher, mother, student, or whatever. You can also make it as simple as you're going to help people in the way you choose. My purpose? It's really simple. I help people actualize their potential. The way I do that? Well, that can vary from time to time, but now I'm all in on sharing wisdom from books. But the central purpose will always be I help people actualize. But you also need to remember that your purpose can change. And if you think it's the right thing to do. What we don't want to do is to be aimless and fall prey to petty worries, fears, and doubts. This is also related to the 5th big idea, which is supreme duty. This means that we need to make our purpose, our main goal, our supreme duty in our lives, and devote all of our thoughts and actions towards the fulfillment of that supreme duty, instead of just wandering about and drifting in imaginings and other belongings. So, yes, and then James also mentions that when you commit to a central purpose, and you continually work strenuously towards the fulfillment of it, your character strengthens. This means that when you overcome fears, doubts, worries, and challenges over a long period of time, you end up being a completely different person. I'm noticing this in myself, because a couple of years ago I was a really insecure person. I would be ashamed of, or I would be too shy to walk up to strangers, and even also girls, and even to talk to anyone I didn't know, really. But now, when I started on the path of personal development, this has become easier and easier for me to start knowing strangers and developing myself in various ways. One way is that I've started an interview series that I will publish very soon, and I'm really excited about that. But my point here is that that is not something that I would have had the character to do a couple of years ago because of my insecurity. So how are you doing on this? Do you have a supreme duty? It all starts by knowing why you do what you do and why it is so important to you. Have you thought about that? Well, that's supreme duty. And aimlessness. We don't want to be aimless and fall prey to worries, doubts, and fears. We want to have a purpose or goal that we're working towards. Hidden justice. We can find the hidden justice in everything that happens, learn from our mistakes. Master gardener. We can either cultivate our minds wisely with clean and pure and useful thoughts, or we can just let useless weed seeds fall into our minds with all of the sensational news that that make you worry all day because of all the things that are happening, etc. Then we need to realize that we are in our own self-making by the godlike and bestial thoughts we think regularly. Well, that was a quick look at As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. What is the one idea that jumped out at you? And how can you embody it a bit more in your life starting today? I hope you enjoyed this video and that you continue to actualize your potential so we can create a better world together. Thanks for watching. Have another awesome day. See ya.